All right, gentlemen, welcome to Ask Hypnotica 28. Matter of fact, this is kind of cool because this is going to be my 100th video on YouTube in totality. So, rock on. It's Mother's Day. I'm going to go see my mom and do some cool stuff in the garden for her because you know what? That's a good son's do. Speaking of which, it ties in perfectly with this email. It says, "Hey Hypnotica, after watching your videos and going through some personal analysis, I've decided that in order to truly be a man and take responsibility for life, I'm metaphorically cutting the cord of safety from my mom." Happy Mother's Day, Mom. I'm sure she's happy. This began last week, but now it's all me, baby. No more secretly relying on my mom to bail me out when I make a decision that isn't being responsible. Dear Mom, happy Mother's Day. This video has given me the extra push to share this with you and keep me accountable. All right. Listen, bro, don't ever go to anyone else to keep you accountable. That's giving your power away. All right. You're accountable, like I said, to one person, yourself, and the creator. Okay. And between those two, you got your hands full. All right. So that'll keep you busy. You're not doing it for anyone else. Do not do it for anyone else. Do it for yourself because that's what you want to do. That's what's going to give you the most confidence. That's what's going to teach you about self-reliance and forging your own way through the world. That's a powerful thing, okay? And when you do that, you're going to be giving your mom a great Mother's Day gift. Happy Mother's Day, Mom. Anyways, also, I've been quite out of the game for some time. With my last girlfriend, I was doing some fun 50 Shades of Grey stuff, like reading it to her or what? Like, oh, come on, you know. Here, let me impart some information on this. A woman is attracted to a mindset, okay, a way of interacting with the world, okay. Just because you have some certain techniques down, okay, where you do 50 Shades of Gray or you learn techniques, okay, it's nice. It's an ingredient in the puzzle, but it's not the soup entirely, okay? If you don't do it, yeah, there's some ingredients that it may just not taste as good or maybe it'll taste better. But you got to remember, you're the soup. You're the totality of everything, okay? Your mentality, your masculinity, your ability to lead, your ability to make her feel safe and secure and loved and things like this. These are the powerful things. So don't think that the techniques are ever going to make or break a relationship. They can, but it's not the main focus, right? So since then, no sex in almost a year and a half. That's really weird for me. That would be really weird for me too. Anyways, I know it's because I'm focused on other things. And in the past 3 months, I have gone almost on 10 first dates, but nothing after that. How would you recommend I get back in the game after no, well, he says the word pussy, but I don't want to say pussy on, it's kind of one of those words where, panocha, how's that? All right, because I'd never say pussy on this thing. All right, for about 18 months. All right, so that's kind of the gist of what he's talking about here. Listen, so many guys, like, being a sexual man is important, all right? But we got to remember we're conditioned for just how important we think it is. And it's truly not as important of getting your shit together for yourself, all right? Women can absolutely be a distraction into your life. Okay, if you get a really good woman, it can really help you out and help you focus it. Okay, however, for the most part, women are going to take away from your time. They're going to take away from your focus. They're going to take away from your mission to a degree. Okay, I'm not, like I said, I'm generalizing a little bit here, but I want you to understand that if you're trying to get your shit on point, all right, and you really want to focus in on who you are and really take that time to understand who you are, okay, there's a rare woman out there that can help you kick ass, okay, but most are not at that level, okay, and you really want to just focus on yourself. So if you're about to cut that cord from mommy, all right, it's time. And, don't jump, like I don't want you to metaphorically jump from one mommy figure to another mommy figure, okay, which some guys do, all right. If this is the time that it takes for you to put your shit together, then give yourself a couple months to put your stuff together. Get really focused on what it is you want. Develop your plan. Think about your plan, and that'll be very useful to you, okay? Now, when you say you've gone on 10 first dates but nothing after that, listen, a lot of guys don't understand this, okay? And it's very, very important to understand this. Like, if your mind is somewhere else, okay, you're going to put that off. If you're thinking about, I got to get away from mommy, or I got other things on in my life, or your business needs attention and stuff like that, okay, the majority of your thought process, the majority of your energy, the majority of your unconscious interpretations and responses that you're thinking about are going to come across. All right. So I want you to understand it's not a bad thing. Okay. It may just mean that your brain wants to go in a different direction, so you're not giving them the attention, you're not giving them the connection that you need, because the secondary gain underneath of it is like, look man, if you get involved with this girl and it goes somewhere and you put off those like full-on immersion energy feelings that are attractive, you could go there and create a relationship or an intimate romance very, very quickly, thus taking away from your time. So it's like a secondary gain. You got to check that and just make sure, is that what's going on? Because trust me, I've been there before where, I'm like, dude, I got way too much shit to deal with. Like now, like I can't bring another woman in my life because I'm going to go like scatterbrained and I'm going to go unfocused and I'm not going to get this shit done. So it could actually be protecting you. So don't feel bad about that. Okay. Think about like, hey man, you're getting a lot of extra time. Like I said, women can distract you from your purpose very easily. So think about that and keep that in mind. Now, how would you recommend I get back into the game after no panocha for 18 months? First of all, realize it's not a game, okay? You got to get out of that mentality. It's not a game, okay? It's nature. Psst. Nature. Nature allows you to interact with women, engage with women. It's natural. It's normal. It is not a game. When you start looking at it like a game, you start getting into the gameplay and the head spots and stuff like this. All right. If you know exactly what it is you want and you stick to your guns and you know what you want, what you're going to put up with, what you're not going to put up with, your boundaries are, how you interact, what kind of woman you want to interact with, you're not playing games. You're just pre-qualifying a woman for what it is you want. And if she doesn't buy into it, no big deal, okay? This isn't about just getting lucky. This is about creating the kind of life you want. And if you're developing the type of life you want, sometimes what you had in the past may not be that useful for you anymore because people grow and tend to move on and philosophies differ and things like this. So you got to understand that, okay? So, and remember, having no pussy for 18 months, okay, is like riding a bicycle, okay? Now, riding a bicycle, I would say, is a lot harder to get back up on the bicycle and ride it than to find yourself back in a vagina, okay? Vagina, there's only really 3 holes that you can figure out. If you can't figure that out, it's not like rocket science, okay? You put it in one, or you try to put it in one and you get detoured back to the other one, okay? And there's one that is just it's thirst quenching for them, possibly, all right? There's lots of different choices, but it's not that hard, all right? So it better be hard, though. You think about that. Keep it very hard. Anyways, the bottom line is this. It's not rocket science, okay? You just need to be focused and aligned. And what it sounds like to me is you're just a little unaligned because, you're trying to create what you want, and you got some parts that are just saying, hey, it's not really in alignment with what I need right now. So, get your shit focused, cut off the placating or the nurturing, and get off the nipple. All right, that's what metaphorically, you're still sucking on the nipple. Let your mama's nipple be left alone for a while, okay? No more milk from the nipple, okay? No more moolah from the nipple. No more support. If you want support, hug your mom, kiss your mom, tell her you love her, okay? Things like this. No more like mommy's gonna come rescue me, okay? It doesn't look good on the battlefield when you're down and mommy comes up and picks you up and all the other guys are looking at you, okay? It's time to let go of the nipple. Stop sucking on the nipple and start, putting on your own armor to go out there and do battle with the world and create what it is you want and conquer your dragons, okay? So with that being said, it's Hypnotica, and we're out of here. Let go of the nipple. Happy Mother's Day.